family, and welcome to another episode of Talk the Talk. I'm your host Desh, and joining me today is Nobuhle Motsamai, and she is the new sales manager at Mercedes Benz The Glen. It's also part of the Cargo Group. So Nobuhle is said to be an extremely passionate leader. She knows that you must be mindful of being a sales manager, and it involves much more than meeting numeric goals. You need to be good at managing conflicts in the team while also being able to lead with confidence, as this will rub off onto your team. She makes herself available to help her peers learn new sales techniques and ways to overcome objection and more. A sales manager also leads team meetings or coaching sessions for members of the sales team who are struggling to sell effectively. It has also been said that Nobuhle possesses a willingness to help fellow salespeople reach their full potential, and this shows that she has the expertise necessary to lead and that she prioritizes the needs of others. Now, I think this is one of the reasons that Nobuhle was nominated for the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards 2023. I think she's well respected, and her peers as well as her superiors are very proud of how far she's come in the industry. So let's welcome Nobuhle, and this interview is proudly brought to you by Sariti Solutions and Evo by Nedbank. Hello Nobuhle.
Hello.
You are such a vibrant and powerful and inspirational woman, and I'm so honored, given everything that you've been through, not just at work but especially your private life, that we will not discuss, but I am in awe of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm really in awe of you. So tell our viewers more about your journey in motoring South Africa and what led to this nomination, which we are both now quite surprised. I'm not surprised. Given what you've achieved, it's expected, but you're surprised.
Well, I am surprised. I couldn't think who it could be. But at any rate, I've worked many years in the motor industry with different people across all kind of levels of diversity, etc. And I've done my 10,000 plus hours at working with people, and it's been the most enjoyable ride. It's been worth every single upset, if there ever was any. So it's been quite rewarding for me.
So 10,000 plus hours is equivalent to a PhD. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Tell our viewers as well, what's your opinion about a woman in the motoring trade, and especially our initiatives that promotes and encourages, uplifts and empowers women in our trade?
I think the motor industry has changed so much in the last 3 years, more so than ever before. And with the advent of digitization, and the retail ecosystem has basically moved to everything digital. Customers don't have to necessarily go into our dealerships and go through our sales processes and things like that. They don't need to engage with us on a physical level. What customers are looking for in today's age is to engage with people that can actually fulfill the promises that the brands make, and they want to deal with people who are intuitive and who've got that attention to detail. And I think that's what makes women the most suited to take the motor industry forward in this new landscape where people buy an experience of a brand.
Yes, and the evolution of what you're talking about in terms of digitization has been amazing.
Absolutely.
And it just shows that especially through COVID, the human nature is so adaptable. We really have learned to adapt to this digitization that you're talking about. Yet, I must mention that it is so important, it's critical to have salespeople on the ground.
It is.
That human interaction is what people have been missing out on. No computer can
replace that.
Absolutely, yes. What do you think, why do you think women actually do well in the trade, aside from being empathetic and nurturing and the usual female attributes? Why do you think women are really moving up the ranks?
Because I think the views of women are perfectly aligned to, and I'll call it the new customer. The consumer needs have changed quite a lot, and we're the best suited to treat customers as individuals,
Yes.
you know, and not have the stencil approach to selling cars. We are very well adapted to recognizing an individual as an individual. Customers don't need us to guide their purchases anymore. They've got all that information at their disposal online. They want you to give them the experience of purchasing your brand. You know.
Tell me, has there been a problem that you have solved in some unique way or unusual way, and what was the outcome? Were you happy with the outcome? Now, the reason I asked this question, Nobuhle, is I'd like you to angle your answer in this manner, is because there's many women that are moving up the ranks.
Yes.
And I believe, and I said it earlier on, that you don't live in long enough life to make your own mistakes.
Yeah.
But also it's important to use this platform to empower and encourage, like I said, or even educate women in terms of the motoring trade,
Yes.
as we discussed
Yes.
off air. You know, we don't have those people. We never did have those people to emulate.
Yes.
We need to call it a trailblazer.
We become those people.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
maybe you could help someone avoid making those mistakes,
Yes.
or if they have made those mistakes, how can they navigate through this?
Yeah. So a specific challenge that I addressed along those lines was in the ravages of COVID in 2020, our company had to be restructured and certain roles were placed and redeployed, etc. And I had to work with a team of individuals that I hadn't worked with previously. And in this team was a young lady who was known as a diva, you know, in the franchise, and the team in itself, it was a bunch of people that were considered problem children in the franchise, and this particular lady, she didn't have many friends in the organization. She was detested by a lot of people because they said she had an attitude problem, and I say that in inverted commas, and you'll understand why. And people kept saying that we would never work well together. Myself and herself wouldn't last. One of us was going to leave.
Right.
And I decided that my strategy would be to treat her like the person I would like her to be, which is kind, respectful, and ethical. And I started to show interest in everything, in what she had to say. I made her a part of the team. I gave her responsibilities, you know, with the team's objectives, and she became a completely different person. She became courteous to her colleagues, and she would help the colleagues that couldn't, you know, close deals as quickly as she could, because she was phenomenal at selling cars, and her customers loved her. I just couldn't understand why there wasn't, you know, she wasn't gelling with the teams in the business. And with that interaction that I had with her, she became a completely different person. Today, she works very closely with her current manager. She helps him run the department. Wow. And she's even eligible to apply for management positions. Awesome. And yeah, all she needed was to be seen, to be heard, and for her manager not to speak over her, and to make her feel like she had a share in the team's objectives.
Wow, that's an amazing story.
That's what we need,
yes,
you know, to keep us going.
Yes, and identify what the person is really going through,
yes,
what their personal challenges are. And you know, in life, if your idea of success is just about being ahead of others, you will definitely not explore the full potential of who you are.
Of course.
So you have shown that in your leadership role as well, and that's phenomenal, and I think a lot of women can take from that. And that goes with uplifting, yes, and empowering. You know, it's not just a cliche or a hashtag, woman empowering women. We should actually act on it.
We should. Absolutely. And we have to recognize each other.
Yes.
Because in the corporate space, it's so easy to live past each other and just chase the numbers, and not realize that you're not engaging your people enough to carry your brand and your product forward.
And inevitably, it's those small actions that will lead to your long-term goal of getting to those numbers, which are important.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so what is your measure or your idea of success? How do you measure success?
Of success, it's quite simple, really. I measure my success by the material impact I make in my own life and in the lives of the people I lead at home and at work. And that's just that for me.
Yes. Wow. Okay. And what is your management style like?
So that's an interesting one. My management style is an equal split of a democratic style of leadership, a persuasive style of leadership, and servant leadership, so to speak. I believe in a democratic dispensation. You kind of give people an ownership of the business objective. So they own the space because they help decide where we are going as a unit. right? So they take responsibility and they commit when they have a sense of ownership. Persuasive leadership comes where you want to convince people that what they have to do in order to meet the team's objectives is for the good of everyone. Okay, so when you persuade them that they benefit and the company benefits,
so
it's
you
easier
said
to get things done.
democratic dispensation, and now you said persuasive.
Yes.
Okay.
And servant leadership comes from, I work in the retail space in a place where it's very customer centric, and I can't remove myself from assisting my teams and dealing with my customers when I need to. You know, sometimes they'll battle to close the deal, or sometimes they'll just have a customer that they can't, whose needs they can't fully meet. And that's where I would have to step in and be behind the scenes to make sure that that deal is taken forward and the customer is made happy at the end of the day.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
You sound so amazingly intelligent right now. And I'm trying to grasp, and that is what I do. I said that earlier on. I sit here like a sponge in every interview, and I just learn. I learn because I too am hopefully growing and have staff that I work with, and I'm trying very hard
I
to
think
learn.
you're doing very well.
Thank you. So you'll hire me?
Absolutely,
Okay.
in a heartbeat.
Okay. Okay. Any advice for young women that want to join our trade?
You know, the advice I'd give to young women in the motor trade is the motor trade basically doesn't require too much in the sense of qualifications post-matric. And I think that inadvertently leads to an under-adequate level of competency at work, and later on sort of inadequate leadership styles. So we need people who have got more formal sort of training in the space, and I would strongly recommend that a person gets a related diploma or a degree in order for them to grow in the trade, in order for them to not have to compete with people that are less qualified.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. You know, I'm going to be 40 in a few months, and I obviously am a qualified motoring journalist. I have my honors in media, but I am now studying towards a BA in psychology.
Wonderful.
Yes, and I'm
never
40. You're right. And I'm so excited about this because I believe that education is so important. You know, I actually put this post up the other day that education is power, or knowledge is power, but it's not if not applied.
If not applied, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's absolutely amazing. And in terms of you and your success story, I just want to say that if you want to enjoy success, I think it's very important that before you engineer a situation, which you did, you engineered that situation, you've got to learn to engineer yourself.
Absolutely.
Your inner self, and you've done that. You've done that, and that is why you were able to look at that problem or that challenge in that way. That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I know you are going through the finals to the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards 2023 already.
Yes.
But I am honored. I am so humbled that you have come here to contribute to this platform, and that you may change so many lives just by you, a girl straight out of Soweto, and you are such an empowered family. Straight out of your brother is an accountant, your sister is
an economist.
Right, an economist. Your other brother is in media as well, or he's in film writing, script writing. Gosh, I have made so much context in this interview. So amazing. And you have a mom that's a single mom right now, and so are you, but so empowered, so wonderful, and I'm so honored to have you. Thank you so much.
I'm totally humbled. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you, viewers, for watching, commenting, and sharing our interviews and content. Our non-profit company is the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, powered by MFC and Evo by Nedbank, and the Talk to Talk Studios, powered by Sariti Solutions, are aimed at recognizing and celebrating the women of motoring South Africa. We are not just telling stories, we are changing lives, or at least we are trying to change lives. Together we aim to empower and uplift the women of our trade. And for those of you that are searching for your new ride, please visit www.otto.avo.africa. We have thousands of vehicles on sale for you to choose from, and we only advertise on behalf of reliable and trustworthy MFC accredited dealerships. This car listing portal is incredibly user-friendly, and you can also find vehicle reviews and car maintenance tips and advice, all courtesy of Talk the Talk Studios. Ladies, today I want to talk about optimism and positivity, and I think it's very apt that I talk about this because for everything that Nobuhle has been through in her life, she needed a bit of optimism and positivity to get through that, right? So,
Absolutely.
you know, strong women see the glass as half full and not half empty. So we want to bring good vibe with us everywhere we go. It may not always be possible to display optimism and positivity at all times, but we want to do our best to keep a mindset or strong mindset as often as we can. Our brightness and enthusiasm greatly impacts our moods and others' moods as well. So stay positive, be optimistic, and just know that you are worth it. And on that note, I would like to remind you that the question should never be who's going to let me. It should always be who's going to stop me.